Good evening. Welcome back into WCU Esports. Tonight we have a stacked list of matches coming to you. Starting things off though, WCU Black Rocket League taking on Fort Lewis College. As you can see, both teams 3-0 in this division. I mean, what do you got to say about that one?
This is for the number one in the conference. Big game.
Yeah, I mean, definitely big game tonight, and it's not the only one we have that's going to be big. Coming up next, we have WCU Crimson Rocket League taking on NAU JV, and then following that is WCU Crimson Overwatch looking to take down one of the number one seeds in their division, Fresno State Red. But yeah, tonight, Fort Lewis, you can't ask for anything better than this. Two teams, not just in this division, but both in the Rocky Mountain Athletic Conference as their NCAA schools. So should be interesting to see what happens, and particularly because these two teams could see each other again in a few weeks when we hopefully get to go to a local event in Lakewood. Would be interesting.
Would be interesting. I know the boys just played Montana.
In scrims, right? Or not scrims, but
in
just
MM.
in a competitive lobby.
And, well, they smacked them.
I mean, well, I didn't really get to see it that much, but well said. Sounds like it should be good. And they play them next week. But for now, we're just waiting on Fort Lewis to hop into the lobby and get ready for tonight. And just to keep things standard, we are on a 3-minute delay tonight. Just so you know, and just so everyone else out there knows. It's a little bit of a delay, but we have to do this because of Overwatch Crimson, and we're just going to be running straight through from now until that game is done. So we have to have this set up this way.
That does not affect me at all.
Doesn't really affect us because we get to spectate live and cast live. That's the beauty of the situation. But I mean, I don't know what's going on with Fort Lewis not joining in yet. Just trying to reiterate here exactly who is what and seeing what all happens from just the perspective of everything. Oh, there they go. Alrighty, they're in. Give us a minute. And I don't know if you still have to do that. I don't know if they fixed it or not. I guess we'll be the first to see on spectator mode. But I think we're going to be fine, so we're just going to be chilling here. They're in the lobby, but they need a second, which is all good. I think they're also trying to get their stream up and running, which takes a little bit of time. But what are you looking for from your team tonight? I know that a big talking point, as always, is communication, but in terms of their mechanical sense and just how they're playing on the field, what are you seeing? What are you looking for?
Nothing really mechanically, just consistent ball touches. Go for the more consistent play. You don't need to beat them with skill. Beat them with consistency. And that really comes from communication. That was the big harping point I had to them today, because they do not talk.
I mean, that's always a big harping point with this team. The communication just, especially between what seems like Adam and Noe, is a little off, as they tend to double commit, or just, even then, maybe not always trust each other as much as they should.
Yep. It is. Noe is definitely an aggressive player that will undercut every rotation. As a teammate, you just gotta be ready, see that, talk, and know when you need to go back.
I mean, with Noe too, one of the big things is him being the GC2 on the team, and as we saw a little bit last week, a little a little carry coming out from him sometimes, but he does like to play that tighter rotation. I've noticed that in years past with the upper level ranks on the teams for all of Rocket League. So like for Rocket League Slate a couple years back, it was a Champ 2 undercutting and rotating through, or cutting rotation with a Diamond 2 and Diamond 3 teammate. It happened with Crimson a few years back with a GC and then Champ 2. So it's just a matter of what is going to happen, but we'll get things started here in just a moment. Finally, oh my gosh, that took a while. But here we go. Game 1 in this best of 5 series. WCU, Fort Lewis. WCU on the right in orange. Coffee with a flip reset, almost getting it out of the gate, but a big thing that I want to harp on this team for is that boost usage, as Coffee and Adam were both zeroed there for a moment. They still are, and now no one on Western having boost, Noe grabbing a full and staying alive.
I think if Western can come out fast in this first game, they'll have a great opportunity to see this series through.
I did get a chance to look at the opponents tonight. It looks like it should be, once again, about the same skill level, almost a redirect into the own goal from, I think it was Noe there, which then sets up for Onyx to follow through and finish.
That would be Onyx
Oh,
Biscuit.
Coffee.
A little bit nervous coming out from the first 40 seconds. Just need to wipe away the nerves and play like you know how.
I mean, these are two top teams for a reason, and both should be able to fight back from just about any deficit that they come to face. It's just a matter of WCU, I think, expecting a lot from this Fort Lewis team. And let me go ahead and check this. I did pull up the stats and do a little bit of research for Coffee the other day. Let's see. In terms of who's playing tonight, it's Koopa, Raptor, and I believe Biscuit who are here. Yep. It's going to be GC1 peak, a GC2 peak, and a Champ 3 peak with 2 current Grand Champ 1s and a Champ 3 as this squad that WCU is facing. Something that WCU pretty much was at last year, but have since not been able to maintain.
I don't think it matters who you play skill-wise.
I think at this level, with people who have hit GC and have played Grand Champ lobbies, it's just a matter of who plays better as a team, who has the most consistency, I would say.
Everybody in these lobbies can do everything, and you're not going to be seeing double flip resets come out.
I mean, at least you theoretically shouldn't at this level. It should mostly just be people going for consistency and patience.
And communication.
Or whiffs. That's something else that we do see a lot in these lobbies. But a big save from Coffee there, not whiffing that one. I mean, I would say that's akin to him fixing his mistake from earlier as opposed to passing it to the other team, instead taking the time to... Oh, Noe! Oh, almost. Couldn't quite get it.
Adam with the great chance. Adam has been peaking.
Ooh, Koopa with a great chance, but playing it wide, just missing that shot. I'm gonna be honest. The hardest net in Rocket League to hit is the open one.
Those are the ones that you need to hit because they're free.
I mean, that's the same for any sport that you have to put a ball in a goal, right? But it's always the hardest because you have the pressure of the moment that gets to you, and sometimes it's just easy to miss out.
The best teams are the ones that do the easy stuff the best.
Do the easy stuff all the time.
Mm-hmm. That's why you work on fundamentals all the time.
Yep.
You might hate it, but that's what makes you better.
All right, now minute 45 left in this first game. Almost a goal there from Fort Lewis to extend that lead to 2. But Western's defense more than up to the task, keeping it just a 1-goal game for the moment, seeing if they can't get a pass middle here from Coffee. And it's a demo from Coffee, foregoing the goal himself and letting Adam tap that one in.
That's what we need out of Coffee.
Gotta be the bruiser sometimes.
If you aren't very skillful, you can still bump.
I mean, I think it's rude to say that Coffee isn't skillful. Last week he came out with the mechanics. I mean, it was late in the game, but he still came out with the mechanics and kind of shut us up as we were talking about him only hitting the free play ones.
I was praising him.
It was a great game from everyone last week, but Coffee really stood on his head.
Adam has been peaking, except he is also falls in that category of mental mistakes.
And that's one of the biggest battles with just this team, including with the communication, is the mentality of, if you make a mistake, how do you just move past it, flush it away, and let it drop out? But they have found themselves in positions where the mentality is what loses them the game, not necessarily their ability to play. It's a good pass off the backboard there, but big save from Biscuit that he wasn't credited it. That was a pinch going right on net. Oh, off the crossbar, not quite in.
Got change in momentum here in the last minute.
I would say I think the last minute or 2 minutes of the game has been all WCU. The first 2 minutes were all Fort Lewis, and then there was about a 30-second period in there where it was just back and forth.
But it doesn't matter how good you play in the game if the scoreboard doesn't show it.
Speaking of the scoreboard showing it right there, Fort Lewis Raptor finding the back of the net.
And that's a miss out of Noe.
And I think it's safe to say that Game 1 will go in favor of Fort Lewis.
5 seconds.
5 seconds, but you have to make sure the ball stays up, which with that, it has to be Coffee. Off the backboard for a double, he pops it, but it's just going to stall out, and that will be Game 1 in favor of Fort Lewis.
Yeah, that was a pretty bad touch from Coffee.
Definitely not what you want to see from the WCU team in the last few seconds, but I would say the middle 2 minutes of that game were really solid, and they did really, really well.
There's some positives. But then again, it's the simple mistakes that cost them the game, with an easy miss out of Noe, resulting in an empty net.
I mean, the big thing here is just make sure you get back in it. You get that momentum back on your side. You recognize that you guys played a great game as a whole. It was just a couple of basic mistakes that weren't going your way that allowed Fort Lewis to win.
Go ahead and save the replay as well.
And there we go. Just got to do some quick maneuvers here. Just to make sure we get everything that we need.
You really need a better start. Being stuck on the back foot for 2 minutes is not how you want to start a series.
And even then, that's not how you want to play any portion of this game. You want to always be on the attack, or at least be pushing the opposing team to have to do more. Something that WCU wasn't really doing was testing the bounds of this Fort Lewis defense. We saw Western's defense get tested time and time again throughout that first game, but they didn't get a chance to really put the pressure on Fort Lewis like we've seen in the weeks past.
They're going for low percentage plays, which aren't resulting. It's not going to work.
I do like the ideas of WCU playing physically, but they have to make sure they make contact. And I think something else that's really happening that Fort Lewis is doing more so than WCU is controlling the pace of play, switching between fast and slow, going for those deep, long pass plays, but also taking the time to slow down, control it for longer. And that's what's really helping Fort Lewis in the moment, is changing that pace and forcing WCU to play a more panicked and overall throw the ball game.
And it's the little things where Adam doesn't pick up that boost in the corner that I'm talking about.
Oh, and almost a great passing play from WCU, but miscommunication once again from Adam, this time with Coffee, his hockey teammate, and Coffee ends up blocking that shot, and that stops the Western attack. Now WCU with another chance, but Fort Lewis is going to play a throwaway game with WCU having to play slow in the backfield with no boost once again.
It's the boost.
The boost management's a little rough tonight, and the communications are just about the same. but that doesn't mean WCU is playing a bad game. Their mechanics are really coming in, and their consistency to play good defense is what's helping them out, and only kept that game to a 2-1 scoreline.
Good defense needs to result in good counterattacks if they want to see success in the offensive side.
Now, how would you recommend they do that, by the way, Estefan? Like, what would you say is their key... What's the key factor here for them to be able to get that taken care of?
You got to be able to actually clear the ball. If you get trapped from the midline on your half with no boost, that's when you get in trouble. 200 feet.
It's got to be Coffee here. With a double, running out of boost. Honestly, I wasn't quite expecting that from Coffee to come out in that moment.
He said that he loves going for doubles in games.
I mean, he does, but I wasn't expecting him to keep going with his two teammates with no boost backing out.
That's what you need.
Adam will get a pop touch stalling for Coffee, who's going to have to beat Raptor here. Doesn't quite get it, and now it's cleared back to the defensive corner for WCU. A lot of defense having to come from this Mountaineer team, and the bumps coming out from Fort Lewis will quickly equalize this game.
That's just another one of those small mental mistakes out of Noe, where he could have turned around, gone to the corner, but he wanted to stop and try and make the quick play. You need to wipe that goal off and just, you got 2 minutes, tie game.
You got to make sure you stay out of your own head here. That's a big piece for this Mountaineer team right now, is keeping that mentality, keeping themselves strong in this moment, despite the Fort Lewis pressure coming in. Constantly, these passes are coming off the backboard, and I think the Mountaineers are generally pretty good about defending them, but they haven't been tonight. Ooh, and I think Coffee was maybe going to look for Noe there, but Noe backing out all the way to his defensive corner.
Yep.
Redirect over the back of the net. This is what we saw lead to goal 1 in game 1. It's a big save from Coffee, and a fake from Noe will allow the Mountaineers to quickly refresh and get back onto the offensive half for even just a moment after what was a really scary situation to be in.
And that situation was purely self-inflicted.
And there's the miscommunication again. Both Coffee and Noe thinking they were the ones who were going to take possession of that ball. And that allows Fort Lewis to get a quick and easy backboard pass to themselves.
Fortunate that bounces out and not rolling up. Looked like it probably could have rolled up.
And now WCU a little panicky as Coffee missing what was a very easy clear attempt. It's a pass off the backboard for Onyx Biscuit. But Adam handles that beautifully. And now WCU with a counterattack. They have to score here to have a chance at winning this game in overtime, I would say, or even in regulation right now would be ideal. But for the moment, I think the thing that we need to consider for the Mountaineers is just getting the game back on their side, but that's not going to be how you do it. Beautiful shot going crossbar down from Koopa.
2 people with no boost. It's a 2v1. Good shot.
WCU needs a kickoff goal here, almost from Coffee, but gets bumped by Koopa once again. It's off the ceiling from Noe, trying to set up for maybe an own goal. Adam with the deep shot now, but deflected by Koopa. WCU's offense coming out in the final 30 seconds of this game, and that's not going to be enough quite to save as we now hit the back 15. And with 10 seconds left, it's safe to say Fort Lewis has won this one. So the best thing for the Mountaineers now is just get a goal to, at the very least, get the momentum back on their side. But Fort Lewis is going to shut that down. And game 2 will go, it will go to Fort Lewis College. WCU almost getting another double tap goal, but that will do it for game 2. WCU slowly losing their lead, or losing their hopes of keeping the series alive.
We have seen this team pull out a reverse sweep against Tarleton.
We did see that. But we're going to just take a second here in the in-between game to what is mostly just a small timeout to get things saved. And ready to go for Game 3. This is a best-of-5 series, keep in mind. So just because WCU lost that one has lost two, doesn't mean they're out yet. And you definitely cannot count them out right now. You have to make sure, if you're Fort Lewis College, that you keep the pressure and the momentum from minute one. And right now, the Mountaineers just really need something to go their way right out of the gate, get up a goal, get up the momentum, and just keep that going. And here we go. As we get ready, Game 3. It's got to be done now by Western Colorado. They don't have a choice. They have to win this or their series for the night is done. And they lose that first place spot.
You got to start fast here.
I would say fast and physical is the game that the Mountaineers need to play. They've been playing a physical game the past couple weeks, and it's been working for good reason. And now WCU with a chance, and they'll capitalize.
Little timeout speech. I told them, gotta play physical. You guys are playing good, and really, you gotta boom the ball on defense. Get it out. Get it past their third guy.
They've been playing very tight in their defensive zone, and it's not led to any good opportunities. And it's just allowed Fort Lewis to maintain possession and control in time. Oh, but they have to get those clears as well. That's a big thing that you need to consider, is getting those touches to clear like that from Adam is what's going to keep WCU's pressure alive. They just need to have a little bit of time to get that ball into the offensive half, and then they can start to go to work.
Great signs so far. That's what we're looking for. Nice demos.
And like I said, the past couple weeks, WCU with that physical game, the demos, the bumps, have been working wonders, as we almost see it working there again, because they can disrupt the flow of play no matter what Fort Lewis chooses to do. And it's the best way to play against a team that's just so skillful, is shut them down physically.
You need to be a good second man support against teams like this. You got to get a 50, and you got to be the first one there.
And a big save from Noe. That's where I think the double commits help WCU. When one is slightly unsure, you have to have a second there just in case, and it worked out there as Noe gets that clear. Gets demoed in the process, but he does clear up to Adam, who's just going to stall it in the air. WCU, though, with no boost aside from Noe, and they have to just play a solid defensive game right now to keep themselves up 1-0. You can see Fort Lewis is now trying to play that physical game too. It's off the right post, and the follow-up shot's going to be off the left. Fort Lewis going to be kicking themselves for not hitting that one. And now Western's just going for a passing play, and it's going to work. Noe off the ceiling, faking that he had boost, and Adam going to get an easy tap-in.
A little change-up shot from Adam, screwing with Koopa.
It's what you need to make this work, though. WCU down 2 games in this series, but up 2 in Game 3. Big moment here for the Mountaineers. But now you can see Fort Lewis has seen the physical game that WCU started, and they're just answering. I think, though, that that's not that big a scare for the Western Colorado team. They're used to this.
If Fort Lewis is aggressive and they keep sending 2 forward, one deep ball that beats the third man can send a quick counterattack.
I mean, just about what we saw right there, actually.
You gotta keep that head on a swivel. You can't be getting demoed as third man.
And having those good contests in the air is what's going to help out the Mountaineers, and we just saw it from Noe, allowing WCU to not only keep the pressure going towards the Fort Lewis half, but win possession and allow their team to regroup, gather some boost, and regain the momentum or get the controlling touches that they need.
There's currently 0 boost between all of them.
Well, not quite. Coffee had 100 and then Noe picked up. And just a good shot from Noe. Solo playing that one tonight. I mean, I think Western came out with the mentality of, you guys are not going to win it that easy.
That's just a quick, musty flick out of Noe that secures them this game, really. You got to see this out.
I mean, 2 minutes left still in this game. That's a lot of Rocket League left to be played. Anything can happen in those minutes, so it's just a matter of don't get overconfident if you're Western. Play confident but not cocky.
I want to see them keep the pressure up.
I mean, something like that is going to look good for Western. It's a bump from Noe, and Adam will finish it. This is a different team than we've seen in games 1 and 2.
And that's also a good demo at Adam.
Go for it.
If you can win this by a lot, shock Fort Lewis. You know, that's how you get back into the series.
And that's all you need to get back in. But, oh my god, a great play. But Biscuit just fully missing that. I mean,
that's the
empty net. I think that the pressure of the empty nets is getting to Fort Lewis. And right now, they're in the position of playing cocky and not confident.
And the more that they keep missing.
Keep going.
The more that they keep missing and the more that Western keeps on scoring, it's just going to keep building up exponentially.
I mean, that's the great thing about this game is once the ball starts rolling, it's really hard to get it to stop. And Western has found their game style to work tonight. As we all see, Noe!
That's it.
It should be in, and there it is. There's the finishing touch. But, yeah, this has been a fully different team between games 1 and 2 and now here in game 3.
You can really see the second man supporting and getting the clears.
I'm willing to say it. It's almost like WCU just woke up here in game 3. Games 1 and 2, they were still playing like they were kind of asleep.
It's almost like the coaching advice really helps them out.
It's almost like communicating is a necessary factor for a game that's a team. That's a good contest from Noe with no boost to put it across the field. Coffee now just picking up that full boost, going for another demo. That physical game, as always, working out for the Mountaineers. That was Coffee controlling one off the ball. And WCU looking for a shutout in the dying seconds of game 3. Are they going to get it? No. Fort Lewis is going to score in these final seconds, but the game winner of game 3 will go to WCU Black. My apologies.
That's a good thing to happen.
That's exactly what you need to. I mean, this is what you need to get back in this series from Western. You need to have that control, that possession, and a great goal line save from Adam and a touchdown from Noe. Western Colorado winning this game I mean, that's a statement right there.
You got to keep it flowing into the next one.
I mean, if you're Western, you want to just hop straight in right away. Make sure that everyone else make sure that you keep this momentum rolling. If you're Fort Lewis, you want to take the time to stall out.
I will give them some more words.
Yeah, I mean, you can see on the scoreboard there, WCU Noe having a phenomenal game, being a defensive mastermind while also putting on the pressure in the offensive half. 2 goals, 2 assists, 4 saves. I mean, WCU and Fort Lewis College having the same amount of saves and the same amount of shots, but more of those shots from WCU had the power, the momentum, and the placement, and overall just the timing to put them ahead in this game. Fort Lewis College now taking that time to reset and get that mentality back to try and win this one and put this series away. Game 4 coming to you live in just a moment as we get ready. It's Champions Field, it's night, and it is what you want to see for Rocket League at all times. A fun, exciting series because even though WCU's down in this series, even if Fort Lewis wins this one in this game, the series score doesn't reflect the games played. It has been a constant battle from these two teams.
Great series. Be even better if it goes to 5.
I mean, that's what we want to see from the Mountaineers. But Fort Lewis going to be putting on as much pressure as they can to put this away now.
Get an early goal, it will shut Fort Lewis.
We did see what was a very rough triple commit from the Mountaineers there, but forcing the play is going to be Noe. And Adam goes for the shot, puts it off the upper right corner, and then misses to the post on the left. But Western now with possession of all the boost, all the time, all the speed, seeing if they can't control pace of play. The physicality coming out from Adam once again. Noe looking to try and find Coffee in the middle. Gets past Biscuit, but Coffee going to take that boost away from the Fort Lewis defense. And Western, with all this momentum and speed, surely they find the back of the net soon.
This is the pressure that you need. Eventually they'll crack. Just got to keep it safe. Good pass.
Oh, almost a phenomenal pass from Noe to Coffee. And this is going to, that miss is going to open up Fort Lewis to have this attack coming through.
Double demo.
But Noe playing in the backfield more than up to that defensive challenge. He's been time and time again that defensive goalie that Western needs in crucial moments at all times.
You can see that Fort Lewis does not like to play in their end.
No, and they are trying to find any way to stay out of it as much as possible. WCU trying to play a slow, controlled defense, and it's going to allow them to get some pressure and momentum moving upfield, but a miss from Coffee won't allow that to continue. Noe, though. What can you say, man? I would say he is the best defender Western has ever seen for Rocket League.
Might be one of the best players.
I mean, definitely the best player we've ever seen, but I think specifically in terms of defense, like we've seen some phenomenal offense coming from Smalls in years past, as well as from, I wouldn't say Sean, but from Thing on our Rocket League Crimson team. They have had some of the best offense that this school has used, at least from what I've seen in my time here at Western. But defensively, I don't think anyone can match Noe's level.
And that's really, Noe's got to tap into that and know that he can be the third man and he doesn't need to be the first man all the time.
But it's easy for him to be every man because he's so quick with his movement. He is able to get to any position at any time and do whatever his team needs him to do.
You gotta trust your teammates.
Oh, it's a backboard pass from Coffee, but doesn't connect with anyone. Though it will stay in the offensive half for the moment for WCU. But Fort Lewis trying to take this physical game and put something in the back of the net with it, but they're not able to connect.
They're going heavy for the demos because they are scared.
Oh, and there's the opener of this game. Came so much later than every other game in this series. 1-0 Fort Lewis. Just, I mean, if you're Western, how are you dodging these demos? How are you maintaining the physicality without risking it yourself?
You gotta keep that right stick on. Always knowing where their third guy is, especially from behind. You just gotta be faster.
Oh, no, he takes the game, puts the team on his back right there. What a play. Gets the air dribble defensively, goes off the post and gets a double tap. Noe single-handedly took on the entirety of Fort Lewis College Rocket League Varsity and just smoked them.
Sometimes you need your carry to be the carry. And they have an empty net if they can get a center.
But no boost. That's the story of the night for Mountaineers is no boost coming in big situations where they need it. More than anything, a misflip from Biscuit almost allows WCU to get a goal, but great clear there from Koopa to allow Fort Lewis to get out of their half in that risky situation.
Fort Lewis is just having their way with them physically. They need to just dodge the demos.
But a great clear from Noe, placing that beautifully, going to allow WCU to go back on offense for a moment. It's a pass from Adam over to Coffee. Coffee just going to... Oh, I was going to say he just slots it, but a beautiful save from Koopa keeps this game tied as we hit the final minute of play. I mean, if this goes to overtime, what are you thinking if you're Fort Lewis? What are you thinking of if you're WCU? And how do you manage the pressure that comes from both sides of that?
I think if If you can just dodge these demos that Fort Lewis is going to be going for and get it clear, you're going to have an empty net.
All it takes is one moment, and that can determine the game. We saw this happen game 1, where it was in the dying seconds after WCU being in the lead for a moment. No, this was game 2. Was it game 1 or 2 that this happened? Where WCU had the lead. Fort Lewis then tied it up and was able to score within the final 10 to finish the game out 2-1.
Game 2.
Now clear from WCU. No, we definitely wanted that corner boost. Didn't get it. Fort Lewis College now with all the momentum, the pressure in the offensive half. They're going to play it high off the back wall. And it's a shot, and that will do it. Fort Lewis winning this one in 4.
0 boost between everybody.
The boost is always the issue here for the Mountaineers, but that shouldn't be a bad thing. WCU played well. Fort Lewis just happened to have it to where they won that series tonight. We'll see what these two teams do if they meet up again. It should be a good matchup no matter how you look at it. But I think for the moment we're going to put the stream on pause. We'll be right back as we get ready for WCU versus WCU Crimson here at 7. So we'll just let the stream run, and we'll be back in just a while once that team gets ready and gets in.
won't you come over? Dying to know where you came from. We're breaking open. Feel like our future's just begun. And all I know is that we lost time. If we stay right here, we could free ourselves inside. We'll stay awake forever. We'll hide away when no one knows. Let's run away together. Just lead me into your world. We'll stay awake forever. We'll hide away when no one knows. Let's run away together on our own. Just lead me into your world. Waiting for no one. We're heading straight up for the sun. They'll never notice. We'll take these cities on our own. And all I know is that we lost time. If we stay right here, we could free ourselves inside. We'll stay awake forever. We'll hide away when no one knows. Let's run away together. Just lead me into your world. We'll stay awake forever. We'll hide away when no one knows. Let's run away together on our own. Just lead me into your world.